In our last session, we read a letter from a mother whose 12-year-old son was killed in a car accident by a man who had a long history of drunk driving, but who was then released without a jail sentence. She was grieving, but also angry at the lack of justice, both in the loss of her son and in the lack of punishment for the criminal. I didn't presume to make her grief disappear, but I did suggest that we could discuss perspectives that might considerably change her feelings of frustration and anger. We talked about the supreme importance of choice and how preservation of our ability to make our own choices is the greatest criterion of what is fair, not what is taken from us in any given moment. Now, back to the mother who wrote the letter. As I said in our last session, even though people have the right to make bad choices, that does not mean they don't have to pay the price for them. The drunk driver who killed your son, for example, had to face the judgment of a court. Now, it turns out that the judge, for reasons that baffle all of us, chose to give him a suspended sentence. Very peculiar in light of the fact that the drunk had been found guilty of drunk driving 5 previous times. Regardless of the sentence, however, the price was not yours to administer. That was the jurisdiction of the court. The judge chose to let him walk free, and that is none of your business, or mine, really. It's none of your business legally, and it makes no sense to make it your business. Now, let me show you what I mean by that. I know that your son's death has been a terrible loss to you, and I know you're having a hard time living with it. But imagine what would happen if I could magically grant your wish for justice. Imagine what it would be like if I were appointed by the courts to be an avenging angel at your disposal. For example, what if I took that drunk driver out behind your house and, while you watched, I beat him to death? Would that make you happy? Oh, you might get a brief sense of ugly satisfaction from it, but it would not bring your son back, and you would not be genuinely happy. You'd only have a handful of a mean, shallow kind of justice, and that is not happiness. It's not even close. You'd still be alone. You'd still be angry. You would not have even a teaspoon of the kind of profound peace that genuinely happy people enjoy. Anger is a poison. It's a cancer that's eating you up and destroying your happiness. If I killed that drunk driver for you, you might feel better for a moment, but it wouldn't last. Angry people use blaming and demands for justice like drug addicts use their favorite drug. The effect always wears off, and then they always need more. So, if justice and anger will never make you happy, what will? Do you remember how you felt when you held your son in your arms and told him you loved him? Isn't that the kind of happiness you want? You'll never find it in what you call justice. No matter how severely you punish that drunk driver, you will never feel that kind of happiness. If you really want to be happy, spend your time around people who can love you. And prepare yourself to love other people. It's love that makes us happy, not justice. And we'll talk more about that in our next session.